Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please. Thank you so much, Russ, and I appreciate all of you being here because Governor DeWine told me that it's Pete Rose night over at the game, and he said, you've got some loyal folks if they come, and so I appreciate it. In fact, I think the governor might be there. You know, he skipped out on this one. He said he's heard my stuff before. But it's been an exciting day here in the Cincinnati area. We had a chance to stop at Princeton High School this morning and see what they're doing there, which is extraordinary. A young man named Elgin Card is the superintendent, and he's done a fabulous job there. And in fact, I've got a former Princeton Viking with me here today. And in the spirit, Russ, since you got to introduce some people, I get to introduce some people, okay? So I've got a Princeton Viking here. He played football at Ohio State. He was a wide receiver back in the 80s when I was the quarterback and receiver coach, and I didn't have any gray hair till I met him. And then I met him. Please welcome Princeton Viking, Ohio State Buckeye Thad Jemison. But it's extraordinary what they're doing over at Princeton. They have students from 50 different countries. Incredible what they're doing there. Workforce development, international baccalaureate, national merit scholars. It's so impressive to see what they're doing, and we got to spend a couple hours and just to feel the culture in that place where people appreciate one another. I'm not sure I've ever seen a more behaved high school and middle school in my life. It was an honor and a pleasure to be there, and then we had a chance to go to a nice luncheon over to Weston today with a wonderful group of people who wanted to talk about workforce, which is first on my list as we do things, and he believes it and he means it and he works toward it. And so it's been so much fun to get involved, and now I get to be down here in Cincinnati, and a little bit of my life flashed back through. I remember studying Bron Basevich. You probably aren't old enough to remember Bron Basevich, some of you, but I mean, Bron Basevich was like, for a young coach, I mean, he was like the guy that you study. And I was just at Princeton, and you know, Pat Mancuso, I mean, he was like, those were the guys we learned from. And to have a chance to be here at Xavier with Coach Mata was our head coach at Ohio State when I was there, and he used to, you know, brag about Xavier and you know, the tremendous tradition. And I was a UC Bearcat fan and remember watching all those great teams you know, win championships. And so it's been a blast being here today, but it's been a blast being involved because our belief was that if you live life with an attitude of gratitude, then you can handle anything that comes your way. Because life isn't perfect, life isn't easy, stuff happens. But if you remember that your list of things that you're blessed with are way longer than your list of things that are hardships, and if you live your life with that attitude and you begin your day with that attitude of gratitude, you'll be able to handle anything. And so when I think of my blessings, it's extraordinary the family I got to grow up in, the country I get to grow up in, the state that I get to be a part of. I think of those head coaches that hired me in my early career. I was an assistant coach at University of Akron and Miami of Ohio and Syracuse and Ohio State. I was so blessed to be mentored by extraordinary head coaches and colleagues to learn from on the staff. You're blessed when you're around great people. And we've got to keep reminding ourselves how blessed we are. We have an amazing opportunity right now in this country and in this state. Over the course of the last 6 or 8 years, we've had about 63 companies move here from the two coasts to either expand or establish significant businesses. And our job right now is to take advantage of the opportunity. And we have a great opportunity working with our federal government. I've had a chance to meet with the Secretary of Education, Secretary McMahon. The governor and I met with her in Washington, D.C., and I just met the other day with Secretary Chavez DeRemer, who is the Secretary of Labor. And to see the things that they're working on, to see the passion that they have to figure out how can we do education better? How can we do workforce and labor better? We have extraordinary opportunities at this moment, and we've got to make sure that we take advantage of those. And the workforce education is going to be the key. And that's why it was so much fun to see what's going on at Cincinnati State and Princeton. And yesterday I was at Sinclair, and I've been all over the state looking at all the great workforce initiatives, all the great training, all the great things that are going on. We've got to make sure that we take advantage of this moment. We have a workforce need. All of you that own businesses, I'm sure, would agree. We have a need. This is the moment we've got to take advantage of that opportunity and fill that workforce. I think we have to keep things in perspective. We have to understand that this is going to be a challenge. You know, our demographics aren't as high. We don't have as many people graduating from our colleges and community colleges and high schools as we need. We're going to have to get creative. We're going to have to attract people into our state. We're going to have a better batting average for people getting that training and getting those degrees and making sure that they can do and take care of the opportunities we have. We've got to keep things in perspective. This is going to be a battle, and we're going to need everyone. We're going to need every Ohioan. If you're coming out of recovery and addiction, we got to figure out how we can get you trained and get you in the workforce. If you're coming out of incarceration, we need to get you trained and get you in the workforce. If you're on the sidelines, we need to get you trained and get you in the workforce. We've got to make sure that our universities have, as part of their mission, keeping kids in Ohio. That's got to be one of their top 3 goals, not just graduating students, but keeping them in Ohio. How can you businesses and industry help? More internships. If they do an internship with you, there's a good chance that you're going to get to know them and we're going to get to keep them. The governor started the Governor's Merit Scholarship, $5,000 a year for anyone in the top 5% of their class. You can go to a public school, a private school. The year before he put that in, that $20,000 potential dollars over 4 years, about 67% of the students from the top 5% stayed here. After he did it for 1 year, 76% of the students in the top 5% stayed here, which is going to give us a better opportunity to keep them here. We think that the numbers are showing now, we've had the May 1st declaration of where kids are going to school. It looks like it's going to be like 87% are going to stay here. Just in the first 2 years alone, it's 2,000 great students that stayed in Ohio that wouldn't have without the Governor's Merit Scholarship. We've got to get creative. We've got to keep in perspective how hard it's going to be, and we've got to make sure we understand the difficulty of this challenge, and everyone's got to help. Every Ohioan has got to help. We've also got to make sure that we have great leadership, and that's why it's so great to hear all the names of the people here that are either in office or have that passion to be in office, because we've got to make sure that our leaders understand that the word leadership isn't a position that they might hold, it's the action that they'll take to serve the others. And we've got to make sure that we have the right leadership. The one sign we had on our staff wall for 25 years, 15 years at YSU and 10 years at Ohio State was a quote by Albert Einstein. And I don't even know who he coached for, but it was a good quote. And Albert Einstein said, "Concern for man and his fate must form the chief interest of all technical endeavors. Never forget this in the midst of your diagrams and equations." Coaches have a lot of diagrams and equations. But what Einstein was saying was concern for man and his fate, for our players and their future. I want them ending up like these guys. Concern for man and his fate must form the chief interest of all technical endeavors. And so we've got to make sure that we have the right kind of leadership, that you bring along the right kind of leaders, so that we can have people who are concerned about the fate, the future of Ohio, of each of your individual communities. Perspective is making sure that we have the understanding of what's really important. That's what perspective is. And so one of the things that I tried to do every day before I went to the office was read a little piece of paper right by the door, so at least I could start the day with things in perspective. And this little piece was about the Hall of Fame. I was in athletics, and the Hall of Fame's a big deal. And so this little sentence or two was about the Hall of Fame, just to remind me what's most important. And it goes like this. It says, the Hall of Fame is only good as long as time shall be. But keep in mind, God's Hall of Fame is for eternity. To have your name inscribed up there is greater more by far than all the praise and all the fame of any man-made star. Perspective is really important. Thanks so much. God bless all of you. Go Bucks, go Penguins, go Bearcats, go Musketeers. Whoever's here, go.